Hi guys, welcome back to Nixie DIY Crafts. Today we're going to be making this gift card holder. It's for my daughter. She's going to give these to her teachers for a teacher appreciation week. It's actually a gift card holder in shape of a pencil. To open it, I have it just connected here using seam binding. A little tag, a little charm that I created. The pencil itself, if you can see, it's embossed. So it has the little lines like a pencil. Super cute. When you open it, you can add your gift card, and you can add a small gift card or you can add the ones that come like this in the little sleeve. And then on the right hand side, I added a piece of paper for her to write a note. The paper that I added for her to write her note is one of those papers that they use when they first start learning to write, and I just attached it to cardstock to make it thicker. So let's go ahead and get started. The supplies that you will need to make the cover of our gift card holder are a piece of cardstock in black that measures 8.5 by 11. You're going to need a piece of yellow cardstock that measures 4.5 by 4.25, and it's really optional, up to you if you want to emboss it like I've done here with the little lines. Okay. Piece of pink cardstock that measures 4.25 by 1.5. That's your eraser. And then a piece of craft paper that measures 2.5 by 4.25. That's this piece of the pencil. Now, what I've done is I created myself a template when I created this one, the first time. So the first thing I did was when I cut this piece of the cardstock, and let me flip it around so you can see it better. On my first cut, I went ahead and I saved this little piece so I can use as a template to attach to the other side, and then cut the same amount off on the other side. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is, the black cardstock does have 2 scores. So remember, standard cardstock measures 8.5 by 11. We are going to score on the 11-inch side at 2 3/4. And on my 8.5 side, we're going to score halfway, which is 4 1/4. So this is what it looks like so far. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to cut this little area down here. So I'm going to fold my paper this way, and then here's the fold. I'm going to flip it. So here's my other score, right? My pocket. And I'm going to take my scissors, and starting from this score line, I'm going to cut this way. Let me show you with my scissors. I hope you guys can see this because I'm using black cardstock and black scissors, so it's probably going to be a little hard to see, but I'm placing my scissors right where this meets the score line, and at an angle I'm going to trim it just like that. Okay, so those are our pockets. So I'm going to go ahead and fold it, and I'm going to use my bone folder for a nice crease. And I'm going to start cutting the top of my pencils using my template. Now again, the first time you're doing this, you're going to create your own template. So I'm going to place it here in the corner, and I'm going to cut. And then I'm going to place it on this side and cut. So there is the beginning of our gift card holder. Now I'm going to take my pieces, and what I like to do is I like to glue down the eraser and the piece of the pencil down first, and then I leave the yellow piece for last to go on top of my other pieces. So let's go ahead and do that. And I'm gonna use wet glue. Now we're going to add the piece of the pencil. So I'm going to line this up where these little peaks are, right? I'm gonna place that there. That's how we're gonna glue this down, okay? So I'm gonna add glue to my cardstock. Just make sure it's straight up here. Don't worry so much about this piece because we're gonna trim that, right? There's that piece. Now we're gonna add our piece of yellow, and this is gonna go right on top, just like that. See how I cut it before I set it all the way down? I just want to show you, see how I cut it to overlay on top of those pieces, okay? So let's go ahead and line that up and use your desk to make sure that it's lined up with the edge. Use your bone folder. Now we're gonna take our scissors and we're going to cut. There's your pencil, just like that. Now let's go ahead and open it up, and we're going to glue these pockets down. So you're going to add glue just on the sides. So glue here and glue here, and that's it. Okay, so there is our gift card holder. Now let's go ahead and make the rest of our accessories, which were our tag and then our little charm, which is an apple, and it's just layered on top of this blue circle. And then we have some seam binding. All right, so to make we also need to make this piece, which is the note card where my daughter's gonna write her message. So the first thing I did was I cut a piece of, and this can be any color, but I chose white, and it's just cardstock that measures 2 inches by 4 inches, and I stamped it. And the stamp set that I used, I'm not sure if it's still available, but it's from Our Daily Bread Designs. I love the stamp set. It's all about teachers. So I used the apple, and I used the, the phrases, thank you for planting the seeds of knowledge, but it brought a lot of nice little sets. So this is the one that I'm using. Actually, no, I lie. It's 2 different stamp sets, and I just placed them both in here, but it's 2 different stamp sets. So I'm actually using this one, the seeds of knowledge. I'm using the apple, the thank you, and for planting the seeds of knowledge. But this is the other one that I bought as well, Class Act, but I didn't use anything from here. But really, you can. They're really nice. So this is my tag. So the first thing I'm going to do is, of course, I have to use some paper punches, right? So this is my tag punch. Punch that out, and then I've already pre-cut the circle, and this is just 1 3/8 circle, and then the little apple, which I stamped and I fuzzy cut out, and now I'm going to color. And to color, I used Stampin' Up blending markers. I've had these for a long time, but they do still currently sell these. You just have to check what colors they still have available. All right, so I'm gonna bring over a piece of scrap paper, and I'll show you how we color. I love the color effects. I love the shading, but I'm horrible at it. So with these markers, it's totally foolproof. So I'm gonna start with my dark one, and I'm just going to shade all the areas that have the shading on my apple. That's the only places I will be adding the dark red. And this red is the Cherry Cobbler. Okay, and then you kind of got to work fast with these. So I'm gonna go ahead and now use the lighter shade of red, and I'm just gonna start blending it in. So I'm going into the dark and bringing it down. And that's how you blend. Just pull down. And then you'll see how the middle of my apple is a little bit lighter than the rest of my apple. And if you want to add more of shading, you can always go back and add a little bit more. And then of course, blend it in. Again, these markers are great from Stampin' Up. They're blendables, they're easy to blend. All right, so now I'm going to take my green for the little stem. That's it. And there's my little apple. Isn't that cute? Now I'm going to layer it on top of my 1 3/8 circle. But before I do that, I have to punch a little hole. So I'm just using a hole puncher. This is a 1/16 hole punch, and I'm gonna go as far down as I can to punch my little circle. I'm gonna use some thread to create a little hoop. So this will be our hanging charm. Cut the excess. There's our charm. I'm going to use dimensionals to pop up my apple. There you go. You can put that aside. Now we are going to attach my writing paper to my piece of cardstock that measures 4.5. My goal is that I want to try to center this as best as I can, and then I'm gonna trim it a little bit so it will fit in my gift card holder. This paper is so thin, so I'm hoping that it's not going to rip. I ran this through my sticker machine, so it has just this paper here that I have to remove. So here we go. I just have to be really careful because again, this writing paper is so thin. So I'm gonna leave it like that. And then I'm gonna try to line this up. Go. If you don't have this paper, it's fine. Just use a piece of white paper and layer it. Okay. All right, so that came out pretty cool. So I trimmed down my card and now it measures 5.5 by 3.5. Okay. And now it gives my daughter enough space to write her message to her teacher, and I'm just gonna slide that right in here into my pocket. Okay, now let's put together our seam binding, our tag, and our charm. So to do that, I'm just going to cut enough seam bind. I'm just gonna grab just a little bit to go around my card. I have enough to make a little bow. So this is probably about, I don't know, 16, 17 inches long, okay? So what we're gonna do is on one side, I'm going to add my charm. And on the other side, I'm going to add my tag. And now we are going to make a bow. Just like that. And then again, I left this spot empty here so my daughter can write her name. That's it. These are my gift card holders. If you wanted to even step it up a little bit more, you can even personalize it and write the teacher's name down here on the erasers. That would be super cute as well. Hope you enjoyed watching this video. Thanks for watching.